In the year 2147, humanity had reached the stars. Earth's first interstellar colony, Nova Terra, thrived under a fragile alliance with the Zorathian Empire, an advanced alien civilization whose towering insectoid forms and bioluminescent carapaces made them both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Despite their technological superiority, the Zorathians were known for their strict adherence to protocol, especially when it came to matters of life and death. For them, medical intervention was sacred, governed by ancient laws that no outsider could ever comprehend. On this fateful day, Nurse Elena Vega found herself at the heart of an unprecedented crisis. She was stationed aboard the Xenomedica, a floating medical hub orbiting Nova Terra, where humans and Zorathians worked side by side to treat patients from across the galaxy. The facility was a marvel of interspecies cooperation, but tensions always simmered beneath the surface. It began with a call over the comms system. "Medical emergency in Bay 7, came the urgent voice of Commander Jarek, one of the few human officers trusted to oversee operations on the station. Zorathian dignitary down. All available personnel report immediately. Elena rushed to the scene, her boots clanging against the metallic floor as she sprinted through the sterile corridors. When she arrived, she saw the source of the commotion, a massive Zorathian sprawled on the ground, his segmented limbs twitching faintly as his glowing exoskeleton dimmed alarmingly. Around him, a crowd of frightened staff members stood frozen, unsure what to do. What happened? Elena demanded, pushing past the onlookers. "He collapsed during negotiations," Commander Jarek replied grimly. "His entourage refuses to allow anyone near him until their doctor arrives." Elena's eyes darted back to the fallen alien. His breathing, if it could even be called that, was shallow and erratic. A faint hum emanated from his body, signaling some kind of internal failure. To her trained eye, it looked like cardiac arrest, or whatever passed for it in Zorathian physiology. "We can't just stand here," she exclaimed. "If we don't act now, he'll die." One of the Zorathian aides turned toward her, his mandibles clicking sharply. "You will not touch him," he hissed in broken galactic standard. "Only a Zorathian healer may intervene." Elena clenched her fists. Protocol or not, she couldn't let someone die when she had the skills to save them. Ignoring the protests around her, she knelt beside the stricken alien and placed her hands on his chest plate. Using her knowledge of xenobiology, she located the equivalent of a sternum and began performing CPR, her movements precise yet forceful. The room erupted into chaos. The other Zorathians screeched in outrage, backing away as if they'd witnessed sacrilege. Even Commander Jarek tried to pull her back, his voice low and urgent. "Vega, stop! You're going to get yourself killed!" But Elena didn't listen. 47 agonizing minutes passed as she worked tirelessly, sweat pouring down her face as she fought to keep the alien alive. Finally, just as exhaustion threatened to overwhelm her, the doors slid open, and a second Zorathian entered the bay, a towering figure clad in shimmering robes adorned with intricate patterns. This was the Empire's most revered healer, Dr. Silith. Dr. Silith moved with an eerie grace, his elongated limbs gliding across the floor as he approached the scene. He studied the prone form of his kin, then turned his multifaceted eyes on Elena. There was no anger in his gaze, only curiosity, and perhaps a hint of admiration. "You have defied our customs," Silith said, his voice resonating like a chorus of chimes. "Why?" Elena swallowed hard, standing tall despite the weight of dozens of alien stares. "Because I took an oath to preserve life," she replied firmly. "All life, no matter the species." Silith tilted his head, considering her words. Then, without another word, he extended one delicate limb and placed it on the unconscious Zorathian's chest. A soft glow enveloped the patient as Silith administered his own treatment, stabilizing him within moments. Once satisfied, he turned back to Elena. Your actions are unusual, he admitted. Among my people, such interference would be punishable by death. But you acted out of compassion, not malice. That is rare. Before Elena could respond, Commander Jarek stepped forward, his expression grim. Nurse Vega, you violated Article 347 of the Interspecies Accord. Until further notice, you're suspended pending investigation. Elena nodded stiffly, knowing there was no arguing with the law. As she was escorted from the bay, she glanced back at Dr. Syleth, who watched her go with an unreadable expression. Hours later, Elena sat alone in her quarters, staring blankly at the wall. Her mind raced with questions. Had she done the right thing? Would her career, and possibly her freedom, be sacrificed for daring to cross cultural boundaries? A sudden knock at the door startled her. Before she could respond, it slid open, revealing none other than Dr. Syleth. He entered uninvited, his presence filling the small room. I owe you thanks, he said simply. Had you not acted, my colleague might not have survived long enough for me to arrive. Elena blinked in surprise. I thought you'd be angry. Your people seem pretty serious about your rules. Our rules exist to maintain order, Syleth explained, but sometimes order must yield to necessity. Your courage reminded me of that. He paused, his luminous eyes narrowing slightly. However, your suspension troubles me. It seems unjust for one who sought only to help. Elena shrugged, trying to mask her frustration. Rules are rules. I knew the risks. Syleth clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. Perhaps, but perhaps not all rules are immutable. With that cryptic remark, he turned and left, leaving Elena more confused than ever. Days passed, and Elena's suspension remained unchanged. Yet whispers began to spread throughout the station. Word of her defiance had reached the highest echelons of the Zorathian Empire. Some claimed she would face severe punishment. Others believed she might become a symbol of unity between species. Then, one morning, Commander Jarek summoned her to the observation deck. Waiting there was a delegation of Zorathian officials, including Dr. Syleth. At the center of the group stood the very alien she had saved, now fully recovered and radiating vitality. Nurse Vega, the once-stricken Zorathian intoned, his voice deep and resonant. You have earned my gratitude and my respect. Few among my own kind would dare challenge tradition as you did. Such bravery deserves recognition. Elena stared at him, speechless. Beside her, Commander Jarek cleared his throat. Effective immediately, Nurse Vega's suspension is lifted. Furthermore, the Zorathian Empire has requested her inclusion in future diplomatic missions involving interspecies medicine. As applause erupted around her, Elena felt a surge of relief and pride. In defying convention, she had bridged a gap between two vastly different worlds. And though challenges undoubtedly lay ahead, she knew one truth above all else. Sometimes, breaking the rules was the only way to save a life, and maybe even change the galaxy.